We talk a lot about how the Industrial Revolution kick-started centuries of the removal of women from the home and how detrimental that's been coming down now to modern times. But the removal of fathers from the home from that same revolution has been just as pernicious. But since there was never a gigantic male equivalent to the feminist movement deriding the family and the opposite sex at every turn, those changes were not as noticed, even by the right. It's actually not natural for dad to be completely removed from his own wife and children all day long, making him like a stranger who comes home at night to sleep, eat, and leave again the next morning. Professor and scholar Nancy Pearcey writes, quote, "We're so used to fathers being out of the home that we no longer realize what a shock it was at the time. In the 19th century, there was a huge outpouring of books and articles that lamented missing fathers. People felt that the family had been hollowed out. In 1842, an article in Parents Magazine said, "The greatest source of domestic sorrow is paternal neglect. The father toils early and late and finds no time to fulfill his duties to his children." A book author wrote, "It is one of the misfortunes of our American way of living that the head of the house, the father, he who is the support, the mainstay, the highest central figure, should be scarcely able to live with his family at all." The president of the Women's Christian Temperance Union said father absence was the central problem facing the family. She wrote, "God is the father, but how many families there are where the prototype of the divine is practically absent from Sunday to Sunday," end quote. But like women of the modern era who are rekindling their latent trad-wife maternal instincts through the development of work-from-home options, Pearcey argues, quote, "Fortunately, the pandemic was a game changer. A Harvard study found that during the pandemic, 68% of fathers said by working from home, they got closer to their children, and they don't want to lose that. They prefer to keep some kind of hybrid arrangement and flexible work hours." In another study, 70% of fathers said they would prefer flexible hours that gave them more time with their family, even if it means earning less, end quote. So yes, we need more women called to marriage and motherhood to see that as their crowning achievement in life, as NFL star Harrison Butker bravely pointed out in that recent commencement speech. But we need men to feel that way too, which he also touched upon, but the feminists conveniently ignored that part. Stripping fathers from the home made it easier for the left to replace dad altogether with the welfare state. And how so many young men grow up in broken homes that they don't even know what a strong man is supposed to look like. So they take cues from their peers in the streets instead, and then we act shocked that so many are choosing violence, crime, drugs, prostitution, and the like over settling down, bringing us back full circle tonight. So our first guest tonight captures this missing piece just in time for Father's Day coming up next month in his latest book, The Bare Essentials of Fatherhood. So joining us now to discuss is actor, director, producer, and author Kevin Sorbo. Kevin, thanks so much for being here tonight.
My pleasure. And that was wonderful, everything you just said. I agree with everything. That was so well said and so well put. And we need to wake up. We need to wake up. And this wonderful book with Brave Books, my second book with them, deals with that issue, deals with the importance of fathers being part of the family. Look, you can go back to the 70s and look at sitcoms back then, you know, up to present time, where the father would be kind of chunky, out of shape, kind of a doofus dude. The mom was kind of hot and a babe, and the teenage kids would use dad as a pincushion just to make fun of him, just to sit there and degrade how important he was to the family. And we've been doing it. I mean, we have a spiritual war going on in this country. We have a cultural war going on in this country, and both of us led by the bubbles on both sides, Washington, D.C. and California and Los Angeles, and the movies they put out and the TV shows they put out. And this book really shows how important it is to have a father within the family. And I was blessed. I mean, we're homeschoolers, so my kids have been with me the whole time. They're now 18, 20, and 22. And you mentioned COVID and that fathers are closer to the kids. It's because my kids are with me all the time. I'd go on location. I shoot 3-4 movies a year, so I'm gone 6 months a year. Those 6 months, they were with me the whole time. They would be there. They'd be on the set. They'd be, at school. My wife is a homeschool advocate. She travels the country. I highly recommend people go to Sorbo Studios, sorbostudios.com, and check it out. And obviously Brave Books, bravebooks.com, because the work that they're doing out there is amazing, because they're rebuilding the morals and the values in this country that made America great to begin with.